Welcome back to DVC Weekly. This is episode 252. My name is Jason Erpelding. I'm the broker of Buy and Sell DVC. I'm here with Scott Marioli.
I'm the owner of DVC-Rental.com. Remember the dash to save the cash, as well as buyandsellDVC.com.
And today is December 3rd, 2025. So your 11-month window is going to be November 3rd, 2026. And the 7-month window is going to be July 3rd, 2026. And we're going to go right away into the buy and sell side of things. And, Animal Kingdom and Saratoga Springs are the biggest sellers on the resale market. Part of the reason, of course, is they're very large resorts, which means they have a very large number of owners. So, of course, if you have the same percentage of people selling at all the resorts, that's going to have the most listings. But also because Animal Kingdom expires 2057, and the dues are $967 a point for 2025. Saratoga expires 2054, and the dues are $854 a point. And I just want to give you a little recent update on the pricing. 2018, Animal Kingdom was roughly selling around $100 a point. Saratoga Springs, $91 a point. I'll just do one resort at a time. Animal Kingdom, $100 a point, and then it went up to roughly $104 a point, $105 a point. 2021 Animal Kingdom saw a jump to roughly $118 a point. And then 2022, that was the peak of everything. If you're talking months, it was August of 2022. That was the peak for Saratoga and Animal Kingdom. You're at $129 a point is the average. 2023 then, because basically what happened, Disney was buying everything back at Saratoga. When I say everything, that's an exaggeration, of course. They were buying a lot of properties back at Animal Kingdom and Saratoga in 2022. This happened, and the prices just kept going up and up and up until August, September of 2022, and then Disney stopped buying everything back. They basically went on a run where they didn't buy anything back for a long time, and all of a sudden the prices came back down. So then you have 2023 prices went down to 107. So 129 to 107. In 2024, you're at $98 a point. Saratoga, 91 to 97, 96, 109 in 2021, 121 in 2022, then down to 98 and down to 90. So what I'm saying is, if you didn't jump in, now's the time to jump in, because I've been involved with resale since 2004, and basically every year prices would just creep up, say $2 to $5 a point at each resort. But then this is the only time where prices had a spike and then they went down. So if you didn't jump in 2021 or 2022, you can now jump in and get prices, the same price that you would have gotten in, say, 2020 or slightly less maybe. And, so people are jumping in, but I just want to make you aware that, it's still a great value to buy there. And again, it's crazy because, back in 2022, you would have said, what are you telling me that Saratoga Springs is going to eventually be selling for $150 a point in resale? But again, the buyback stopped, and again, I don't really know what the point of Disney's buyback was in 2022, because it wasn't like people were buying Animal Kingdom and Saratoga direct. Yeah. So I don't know, but again, Saratoga, Animal Kingdom, it still may be the way to go for you as a buyer, because if you like to go at different resorts, again, you get the longer expiration, annual dues, and the price per point being where it makes it a good value.
Yeah, absolutely. I think these are definitely two of the most bang for the buck options out there. And again, I have a lot of Saratoga Springs points. I own an Animal Kingdom as well because I love Animal Kingdom. I think you really can't go wrong with buying at these resorts. Great deal, late expiration, lower maintenance fees than a lot of the others. Is fantastic deals. And
to me, if you own at these resorts, I like to think that it's less pressure, meaning if you own at, say, Beach Club, right? I feel like, I don't own at Beach Club, but if I spent the money, I would feel all this pressure to make sure I secure a reservation at Beach Club 7 to 11 months in advance.
Yeah, I know at Saratoga Springs, I'm like, hey, I stay wherever I want. I don't care. There's no pressure. At Beach Club, I'd be like, if I didn't stay at Beach Club, why did I pay for this?
Yeah, exactly. Like if you didn't get the reservation you wanted, you are not, like all of a sudden it becomes a thing where you're now upset.
Yeah.
So these two resorts are much less pressure.
You buy one of the most expensive ones, you're like, now I use my points to stay at one of the, quote unquote lower resorts. This was bad this year. You buy one of these, you're happy wherever you stay. Yeah. It's all good.
And then when you do get that reservation miraculously at the Beach Club, you're talking about it to everybody. And now we're on to the food review of the week.
Come here, I'm gonna eat you. Get in my belly.
So this is going to be my last review on my special cookie and cake bonanza that I had. So for this one, I had the Biscoff cookie at Gideon's Bakehouse at Disney Springs for $6. I was not a huge fan of this one. It was a nice soft cookie with pieces of Biscoff cookies on top of it, but it was just one taste the entire time. It needed something to break up the taste a little bit. Maybe a flavor or chocolate chips or flaked salt, something. It was just too much of just like one taste. And it was just too much sweetness in Biscoff. It needed something else. Overall, not a bad cookie, 7.3. I would not get this again. There's so many other cookies they have there that are better. Like I'm just picturing, they have the chocolate chip covered in pistachios as well as flake salt. I'm like, in that scenario, you've got the taste of the cake and the chocolate and the pistachios and the salt. Like there's so many different things going on that's a great cookie. This one was just like one solid taste the whole time. It needed something else. It was just too plain, in my opinion.
And then we're on to the DVC-Rental side of things.
So this is my DVC on the high seas. You're trying to figure out if renting points for a Disney cruise is worth it. Now, DVC points can be used to book cruises as well. This is mostly going to be aimed towards the DVC members. There will be some talk about renters as well, but mostly just the members. It's just trying to figure out what you should do. And right now, and there's going to be some examples coming up, it just never makes sense to rent out, to use your points to book a Disney cruise.
You were supposed to leave them in suspense for that part.
There's so many people out there right now who are yelling, we already know, don't use your points for a cruise. But I wanted to explain. So when you've got your points, essentially, if you rent them through a company like us, we pay the highest rate in the industry at $18 per point. When you use it as a DCL exchange, typically Disney values it between $8 and $10 per point. So as an example, a 7-night cruise for 2 adults, cash price of an inside cabin, you're looking at about $4,500.
And we're using Disney Cruise?
Yes, this is Disney Cruise. And again, you can rent through a company like us, you do what's it called, a cruise swap, where you can give us your points, we'll rent them out for you, and then we'll book any cruise line you like. It doesn't have to just be Disney, and you can save a ton of money that way. But in this scenario, 7-day Disney cruise, 2 adults, looking at ballpark about $4,500, where they charge approximately 550 points for the same exact cruise and a $95 fee. So if you take those 550 points and they're valued at $18 a point, if you book it with us, it's $18 a point, that's worth $9,900 in cash. So it's more than twice the amount of the cruise. So it makes sense to rent out your points, book the cruise with cash, and then you have still several $1,000s left over to go out and buy yourself a brand new TV or a laptop or something else you like. Take your wife shopping for some nice purses. There's a lot of stuff you can do with the extra couple $1,000, or invest it. But it does not make sense to use your points to book out a cruise. So, I mean, essentially you could book the cruise for $300 for 300 points. Well, that's what a lot of times you can do. You take 300 of the points, rent them out, use that to book the cruise, and then you can use those points and use them for something else. Use it for another stay, rent those as well. There's so many other options, but it never ever makes sense to use points to book a Disney cruise. So we get questions from renters sometimes saying, "Hey, can you guys book cruises for us on points?" It's never, ever, ever, ever worth it. So if you're a DVC member, rent out your points through us, book a cruise, or if you know it, when you're renting out, when you've got the DVC points, you are locked into a Disney cruise. If you rent out your points, you're getting cash. You can book whatever you want. Sail Princess, sail Norwegian, sail whatever you like. You use the points to put a patio in the back of your house, whatever you like. The points have a nice value, and you're not locked into any specific system when you rent out the points. So lots of options. It's a bad investment for the Disney cruise, and then you're locked in specifically with Disney. You could go to Royal Caribbean, which I absolutely love, for half of what Disney charges, and now you've got $7,000 left over to book whatever you want. So just don't use your points for a cruise. And if you're a renter, contact us. We can book cruises for you. Don't even worry about the points. It is not worth it.
So to summarize, you can grade me on my summary, but let's see here.
I'm already giving you an A for your summary because I know it's going to be fantastic.
Oh, I don't know about that because I'm doing this on the fly here.
You've got it, buddy.
So cash for the cruise would be $4,500.
$45.
If you rent out your points, the number of points you would need for that same $4,500 cruise is 550 points. If I rent out those 550 points, that's $18 a point, which means that's $9,900. That if I use the points, I'm essentially paying $9,900 for the cruise when I could have only spent $4,500.
Exactly. You took something that was worth $9,900 and traded it in for a $4,500 cruise.
So this is a summary of why people don't use their points for a Disney cruise. And then in summary, if you bring it back to DVC wouldn't work if the room that you're using your points at for the Polynesian, if that room was renting to the general public for $120 a night, it would make no sense for you to be a DVC member. But because that room rents for, say, $900 a night, that's why people become DVC members. It makes sense with the DVC resorts and the DVC points. It does not make sense with the Disney Cruise Line. That's the summary.
You, sir, get an A+.
Nice.
You explained it perfectly. Told you you'd do it.
All right, we'll see you next week.
Thank you so much for watching. We appreciate you guys. Leave a comment. We love seeing your comments in there. Have a wonderful day.